Good morning. The government yesterday extended a raft of measures designed to help people cope with the high costs of living into 2024, even as the rate of inflation slows. Like other European countries, Spain has grappled with the cost of living crisis in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, exacerbated by the impact of war in Ukraine on energy prices. This new phase will serve to consolidate the progress achieved over the last 5 years, so Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told a news conference after the cabinet approved the new package. Sanchez said the country's gross domestic product was set to have grown by almost 2.5% this year. The Bank of Spain's previous GDP growth forecast was for 2.4%. Pensions will be raised by 3.8% in 2024 to match average inflation over the past year, Sanchez said. Among the measures were a broadening of subsidies for young people and public transport to all regular users and an extension of the reduction of VAT for essential items such as fruit and vegetables, pasta and cooking oils. Tickets on intercity bus lines will continue to be subsidised by 50%, with the central government paying 30% and the regions contributing the remaining 20%. A controversial so-called windfall tax on energy companies, which brought in around €3 billion in 2023, has been tweaked to allow companies to partially offset the 1.2% levy if they invest in renewable energy projects. A VAT cut on energy bills, which reduced the rate to 5% during 2023, will slowly return to 21%, Sanchez said. The 21% VAT rate on gas bills will be reinstated in April, according to a Budget Ministry source. The tax rate on electricity will rise to 10% for next year. Meanwhile, the government confirmed plans to close nuclear power plants by 2035 as it presented energy measures, including extending deadlines for renewable projects and adjusted renewable auctions. The management of radioactive waste and dismantling of the plants, whose shutdown will begin in 2027, will cost around €20.2 billion and will be paid for by a fund supported by the plants operators, the government said. The future of the country's nuclear plants, which generate around a fifth of the electricity, was a hot issue during the recent electoral campaign, with the Conservative opposition People's Party pledging to reverse the planned phase-out. More recently, one of the main business lobbies called for extending the use of the plants. And at least 3 businesses were completely burnt to the ground on the Costa del Sol yesterday. This was the result of a major blaze in Marbella in the early hours of yesterday, which the National Police are investigating. The emergency services began to receive calls from eyewitnesses at around 4:15 a.m. According to the callers, the fire started in one of the establishments in the Cristomar shopping centre. According to sources, the flames quickly spread along the facade and affected other neighbouring businesses, leaving 2 of them completely gutted, whilst others suffered partial damage. No injuries were reported. Just 2 hours later, just before 6:30 a.m, emergency services got calls alerting them to a new fire in an establishment in the Nueva Andalucía area. Despite the damage to the premises, again, no injuries were reported. That's the latest from TRE. I'm Bob James.